So, picking up where we left off in the previous episode, I did bring the face cam back for this. This is going to be just off season only. I will not do any spring training in this video. Spring training will be its own episode. Don't know how much of it will do though, because there's probably not too many people we're going to be looking at in the spring. But this may be a pretty extensive off season for us. I have made some decisions on some things that we had recently discussed, and some of that is clearing out this coaching staff. And as you see, we have fired our manager and we fired our pitching coach. I don't want to try and replace the entire coaching staff in one fell swoop. Our farm director, we didn't fire him. The contract ran out, and obviously, MLB doesn't let you just re up your coaches for whatever reason. So we had to go find us a new one. I think Jose Fernandez was our previous one. Either way, we're offering him a 3-year deal. We'll see if he takes that or not. I can't remember who the other guy was, though, off the top of my head. It might have been Rodriguez. I'm not 100% sure. We're going to keep the hitting coach, even though we're taking a hit to power there. Not a huge fan of that, but other than that, it's not too bad. And then our first base coach, we're keeping him. I think we just signed him in the previous season. And the third base coach. Not a huge fan of having the -2 durability, but we can live it for now. And the guy we're going to target for manager is Kurt Gund here. I feel like he nullifies some of our durability hits there. He's also going to help us with our home runs per non-contact. I don't really care about drag bunting. It's the other three things that I care about with this particular manager. See if we can't lock him up on a 3-year deal. And then for pitching coach, we're going to go after Cisneros. I don't know how to say his name. I just know that across the board, I like a +1 in all those categories. Pretty sure there's better options out there, but I feel like for where we're at as a team right now, this is kind of what we're going to do. We're going to try and lock him up for 5 years. Now the real fun part, who we're going to bring back. All these guys are exclusive free agents, and we're going to take a look at each one individually. Robbie Ray didn't do, I guess, too terribly bad. I mean, would have liked to have seen a better season. This is a guy that really just a depth piece for a rotation, because I know I don't have a whole lot of pitching ready to be in the bigs right now. And I'm only interested in doing a 1-year deal. And based on how things kind of look for us, 13, if we can get him for 1 year, 13 mil, I'd be happy with it. Not really willing to go more than that. He's obviously probably going to test the market on this. We'll kind of see how that unfolds. Bryce Wilson, another guy, probably going to offer him the contract. Is probably not going to be what he wants in any stretch of the imagination, if I'm being honest with you. I don't want to try to replace an entire pitching rotation. So thinking 2 years, just under 10 mil per year. Probably overpaying just a touch, but he's really just a placeholder at this point. And he hasn't necessarily had a terrible, terrible time with us. I mean, we don't have the best defense behind our pitchers, and it's not bad per se, but I'm not opposed to 19 million over 2 years. I feel like that's relatively cheap for a pitcher that is only temporary for us. Josh Rojas, though, is a very interesting choice for us, I guess you could say. He's done really good in the games that he's played. His potential has gone up. He's, not looking bad across the board. Definitely, I think, an upgrade at third base for us. His arm accuracy is his biggest knock, but I mean, I'm not opposed to that. We don't really have a whole lot of options at third base. I know Enrique Hernandez is like, I'm not a fan of him right now, and we don't have a whole lot of options at third base. I don't feel like this is bad for us though. Like, does really good at the plate. I'm willing to do almost 7 million a year for him for 2 years. I don't think that's bad at all. He's another guy that we're not really looking long term with him, but he helps us at right now. Tommy, I think we're gonna let go. He's in regression. He did not have a good year at all for us. Did not do what I felt he should have. 14 holds, pitched 82 innings, 4.17. Like, that's a full-on regression from what he's done with everyone else he's been with. So I think we're gonna let him walk. And then Andrew Heaney, we're not bringing him back. Unfortunately, Kurt Gunn would not accept our offer. We would get our pitching coach though, so that's a good recovery in my opinion. Next choice for us at manager, a bit of a younger guy, Chris Felez. Helps us in some areas. Doesn't really hit the areas that the previous guy would have done for us, but he decided he wanted to go be a farm director instead. But we're gonna see if he'll take the 3-year deal here. Didn't feel like offering too much money here for this particular person, but we'll see how it unfolds for us. First up here, we're gonna handle some arbitration. Lawrence Butler has not lived up to expectations, in my opinion, and he's running out of time. This might be his final year to prove to me that we made the right choice by going after him. But he's just going to get a small bump in arbitration. Dean here was a midseason acquisition for us, and I'm not ready to deal him a massive contract by any stretch of the imagination. But I do want to keep him around. We're going to offer him arbitration as well. Possibly his final year with us. It's a $10 million arbitration. And it's his final year of arbitration. Morietta, though, did really good for us, in my opinion. We still have 3 years of arbitration. Tempted to offer him a bit longer of a contract. I don't think this is too bad of an offer here. 5 years, $3.6 million a year. Looks pretty solid to me. We're gonna offer that to him, and then arbitration on top of it. Carnicac, another guy, not the best of years. Served as our closer. 33 saves, 7 blown saves. Final year of arbitration. Another decent 5-year offer right here. 1.9 million per year, basically $2 million a year. Not opposed to that. I feel like that'd be locking up and get us a good bullpen on arbitration just in case. Davis Schneider, this is a guy that I have to make a decision on. Performed really well for us, can also play second base. A couple more years of arbitration, but I might want to lock him up. I mean, he had a really good year for us at the plate for the time that we had him. $8 million a year is a bit steep for my liking. I feel better about $7 million a year, honestly. I feel like that's pretty decent. We'll see if he takes that. Encarnacion, done well for us, but with us signing Snyder and having Prado in the farm system, I just don't know that I need to bring you back. I feel like letting you go to free agency is the way to go here. I mean, I could keep you on as a death piece, though. I think we're just going to offer arbitration just to be safe. Yeah, we'll do arbitration just to be safe. Bobby Dahlbeck, another guy at third base, tempted to keep him around as well. He can play multiple positions. Probably going to get him a spring invite. We'll give you a little bump in arbitration. Murphy is definitely, he's gone. I'm not bringing him back. Boozer, though, Cam Boozer. Yeah, Cam's definitely coming back. Put him on a 6-year deal. That'll get him into his 40s. Doubt he plays all 6 years for us. But either way, I want to keep him around. That's a pretty cheap deal. Also, Steven Wilson didn't do bad for us. He's got 2 years of arbitration left. Decent bullpen arm for us. I'm just going to give him arbitration for right now. Dan, though, you haven't played for us in a while. I'm just going to let you walk. I have other bullpen arms. I took care of a bunch of our renewing contracts. Didn't see anything important to go over. We're going to let a bunch of these guys kind of walk because I just don't feel like they're worth, $800,000. One thing I did forget, I wasn't talking when I made the trade, but I decided to move on from Luis Robert Jr. We're going to send him to the Twins in exchange. We're going to get a starting pitcher and Brooks Lee, a prospect at shortstop. I know we don't need a shortstop, but we don't have a whole lot of depth behind Colson Montgomery at shortstop. So this is kind of what that's for. But also, last year of his contract, I wasn't going to be willing to pay him based on what we've seen over the past 2 years, what he'd be asking for. So we went ahead and moved on from him. And also what appears to be potential salary dump from the Red Sox. They were looking to move Brian Bello. Definitely interested in that. We're going to send Miguel Amaya, Matan, and Jokes to them for that. Barely got this deal done. Feels like it's a salary dump, but we're going to take it nonetheless. And then we do have a needed closing pitcher. Don't have any closing pitchers that are big leagues ready on our roster. Don't feel like going after one. Guardians are willing to give up Trevor Stephan here, 31-year-old closing pitcher. They don't need him. They have Clase. I like his contract, and we're also going to offload Corey Lee, promising young catcher, Tristan Gray, and Brian Ramos. Another thing we did, maybe controversial, but made Sean Burke and Kyle Busch both relief pitchers. They performed better in that role. I figured why not go ahead and just make them relief pitchers. Feel like it's going to work out better for them. They're not going to crack our starting rotation. I've tried. I've given them both options or chances. They haven't performed. So they now become relief pitchers for us. So the big things I want to target in free agency this season is obviously we need a center fielder. Not looking for a big swing there. Just need a center fielder since we traded ours off. Third base, big need for us. We got some young guys, or some prospects, I should say, that can fill that role for us. Don't know if I'm going to do it yet. See what the free agency has to give us. And then catcher. We got a good crop of young catchers. I would like to maybe get a veteran presence there. Two things I want to key on, though, is going to be left-handed batting. Definitely still need that. And then possibly defense. I would really like some defense. So this is who we're going to go after. At least to start off with here, we got Denny Jansen. Matches kind of what I want in a catcher. Small contract, too. Gives us time to kind of let some guys develop. Also gives us a veteran presence behind the mound. Really like that. And then Chase McCormick is our option at center field. There are plenty of other options. They're just a bit outside the price range right now. I want to see kind of how the young guys develop before I go after some of those other guys. Like I think Cody Bellinger is an option. Be a great option for us to add, but I feel more comfortable with McCormick mainly because it's a 2-year deal. And then Josh Rojas didn't take our deal, I guess. Became a free agent, but we're gonna try and lock him up 2 years, $6.8 million. Let's see if Josh, he wants to continue to test the market. Can't blame him. I would really like to bring him back as third baseman though. So we get our farm director. Good. We've locked that up. I'm happy with it. Big first base. I just don't know that. I don't really think we need a first baseman. It's not a bad. I mean, Pete Alonso would not be a bad addition, but I'm gonna pass on it. We're gonna do a second attempt with Josh Rojas this time, $7 million a year. I just feel like defensively we need him at third base. Looks like the Diamondbacks are gonna pick up Bubic on a 4-year deal, almost $11 million per year. Second attempt. Yeah, he's coming back. It's good. We got us a third baseman. It's like the Diamondbacks also pick up Alec Bohm, another third baseman. I'm not ready to spend $21 million per year on a 30-year-old third baseman. You know what I mean? Shane Bieber goes to Milwaukee on a very lucrative contract. Some of the free agents that probably would fit what we're trying to do here. Jazz Chisholm kind of comes to mind. Probably wouldn't be a bad addition at second base for us. We have Nicky Lopez, but this brings us a little bit more offense, and he can also play third base for us. Doesn't look like he did too great at the plate for New York last year, probably why they didn't bring him back. Looks like he's regressing just a little bit. I'm not willing to give him $23 million over 7 years, or like per year for 7 years. That's a bit of a reach for me. Hyesung Kim, I really thought about this one. I know we have a shortstop in Colson Montgomery, but I mean he fits the bill. We know what kind of caliber player he is. Really good offense for us, but I couldn't do it. Once again, just not willing to pay that much money right now. Dalton Varsho, center fielder, didn't do great at the plate, but I mean he checks a lot of boxes for us. Great defense, center fielder, left-handed batter. Need somebody who can go left-handed for us a little bit more, but a lot of money to dish out for somebody who hit below the Mendoza line. Nico Horner, another one, just not ready to do that yet. You know, feel like we just still need to build a little bit underneath this before we start blowing our budget on some of these guys. Bellinger was hard to turn down. Really good year at the plate. $18.7 million per year. We just acquired some contracts. Kind of lowers what I'm willing to do budget wise, but I mean, this is a center fielder that for 5 years would give our center fielders that we drafted and younger guys plenty of time to kind of come up. I mean, he's got a great heat map. It's really hard not to go after this. Brandon Lowe, another good option. Ryan Jeffers, we almost went after him. I really did. I just opted not to be honest. Don't know why. Just didn't. First baseman here, Charles Powell. I mean, I don't know where this guy came from. He doesn't have any stats. I don't know anything about him. I just know he's a first baseman. He's ranked pretty high, but I don't need a first baseman. I know he's really good at the plate, though. Stephens, another guy we looked at. Just feel like Jansen kind of fits what I want to do a little bit more. I decided to put Bellinger on just to, we'll see what his interest is. He's not going to be a priority for us at all. Freddie Peralta to the Brewers. Looks like they're restocking completely at pitcher. Screwball goes to the Rangers. That's interesting. I can't believe the Twins let him go. Yeah, we've already determined we're not going to go after Hyun Kim. So it looks like Bellinger does have a high starting motivation to come play for us, which is very interesting. Do we abandon Chase McCormick and go for Bellinger instead? I feel like McCormick still might be there. Yeah, so we opted to. We're going to see if we can get Cody Bellinger. I know it's just something I got to do. I feel like we need a big name. We definitely need a big name. Hyun Kim would go to the Braves on a very lucrative deal. Congratulations to him. Luzardo possibly going to the Tigers. I think I'm good with my pitching rotation currently. So first time we can actually offer these contracts. Danny Jansen, we offered the $7.5 million per year for 2 years. And then with Cody Bellinger, we offered the first competitive contract, so we get a 5% boost there, which is nice. I did bump it up to $19 million a year. I'm not willing to go over 20 a year for him. It's going to be pretty much this would be our. If we get both of them, it's probably the last signings we do for this offseason. It'll leave us with half our budget left. Might use it to try to fill out a couple other spots at depth. We'll see what's available. But this is probably the last two big signings if we get both of them. Apparently, Cody Bellinger is no longer interested in our offer. I wonder why. Danny Jansen wasn't enough to secure it. Looks like Cleveland's going to go after Chaz Chisholm Jr. So it turns out our current contract offer was not competitive enough. It's outside of the top 3. So we'll bump it up to the $20 million and see if that's enough. And then we'll do a small bump to Danny Jansen's offer. No one else is offering him anything, so may just see if we can get that. If not, I'll just go after another player. Feel like we're gonna lose out on Cody Bellinger though. Right now we're gonna see if we can get us a good draft pick. And no, we would get shafted. We're gonna pick it 4 again. We got jumped. I mean, Athletics made a huge jump, 7 spots, knocked everybody down. Blue Jays, I feel bad for him, man. You had the worst record, best odds, and still, I don't know. There seems to be a lot more volatility with the lottery picks than the previous edition. We got us a big contract decision. This must be Bellinger. Let's see if we did enough to secure Bellinger. And we did not. He's going to be a Ranger. It's unfortunate. Let's see if we get our consolation prize at Danny Jansen. All right, then. Devin Williams would go to the Braves. We'll take a look at the Rule 5 draft. Not really. I don't think there's going to be anybody that really piques our interest here. Yeah, nobody piqued our interest. You know what? Yeah, I'm going to add him. Danny Jansen's been frustrating me, so yeah, we're gonna add another catcher. That's gonna bring us back around to Chase McCormick though for center field. We can go ahead and offer him a contract, and then I'm gonna let Danny Jansen sit for a week. And finally, after all this time, Chris Felix would accept our offer to be manager for 3 years. Let's say now or never chance for Alejandro Kirk. We're gonna do $10 million per year for 3 years. And let's see what his decision is. He goes to the Twins. Of course he does. We get us another decision. Not enough. Okay. Max Muncy is interesting. 1 year deal. Do I do this? Maybe just sign Rojas. Max Muncy's probably a little bit better than Rojas. We'll see what his interest is. We're gonna take another run at old Danny Jansen, and I'll make the offer a little bit nicer for McCormick. So now or never for Max Muncy. All right, we're just gonna offer the standard 1 year, 10.5 mil. It was just something I wanted to get a feel for. Yeah, he goes to the Dodgers. No shocker there. They offered a very lucrative deal compared to what I would have offered him. Danny Jansen finally signs with the White Sox. Looks like Jazz Chisholm went back to New York. 9 year deal. That's a massive deal. I was never going to offer him that. Let's see if we get our center fielder here. No, still not enough. Taking a look at the top 50 left, Chris Sale does pique my interest. Be a 1 year deal. This could work out in our favor. Something to think about at least. Interesting options still left out there on the table. Don't think there's anybody that I really want to go after. Just kind of scrolling through and looking here. Yeah, I think we're going to try and secure what we have and call it a day. Garrett Crochet would go to Boston. 8 years, 43. Jesus, that's a good lord. Interesting offer here. We don't have a whole lot of right field options after Lawrence Butler. I think this isn't a bad offer. We'll take a closer look at him right here. Didn't do too bad at the plate. Really good defense. Not really a hitter. Depth piece for sure. I need to try to lock up McCormick though. You get another offer like you got last time. I'm not going to pay you more. Will we secure it? We do. We finally get him. We lock him up. It's good. We're going to go ahead and offer Drew Waters a deal as well. Would like some more depth at right field. Better options that we have behind Lawrence Butler because we have none. Looks like Evan Phillips gets a 1 year deal with the Orioles. Good for him. Almost $9 million a year for 1 year. Drew Waters signs. Good. I think we're good. Still contemplating on whether or not I'm going to offer anybody. Just the guys I was looking at it potentially adding for starting pitcher. They're kind of gone. Robbie Ray, as we know, we tried to bring him back. He opted to not come back, so I'm not going to offer him anything. I'm not opposed to adding another veteran arm. It's just I don't know if there's anybody that's really going to pique my interest. Bryce Wilson didn't want to come back either. Hey, enjoy your life, I guess. Clayton Kershaw's a veteran arm. Tempted to, maybe offer him something. I know he's in full regression. It'd only be a 1 year deal, but it gives me an option at a left-hander option. I don't think we have too many. We might have some of those. Yeah, we're gonna see if Clayton Kershaw might want to come play for us for a year. So he's got high motivation to sign with us. Love to see that. We're gonna offer him the $10.5 million for 1 year. See what he takes. I know it's not flashy. I hope nobody was hoping for me to be super spendy. I think the biggest one we went after was Bellinger, and that's probably the only guy I was gonna, really dish out a lot of money for. But unfortunately, we didn't get him. Clayton Kershaw wants to come be a White Sox for a year. Love to see it. Get a future Hall of Famer. Really good left-handed arm. Should be good for a year. Allows us to make sure we don't have to call anybody up prematurely. We won't go over the roster just yet. We'll go ahead and get into the start of spring training. We won't play or showcase any games. I feel like we filled out the roster quite nicely. 80 players total. Offloaded some guys that we knew we weren't going to keep around. Let some guys walk. Brought in some new talent. Feeling good about what we're bringing to the table. For the spring, in terms of pitching, Hagen Smith and Grant Taylor's going to come up. Might take a look at them in the spring. Nobody else I really want to take a look at. We brought in some talent. Made some moves. Gonna kind of see how this pans out. I'm not too concerned with seeing these guys in the spring, but I do want to check out Hagen Smith and possibly Grant Taylor to see if they would earn a spot. We'll kind of see how that unfolds as spring training progresses. We still got a ton of depth at catcher. Didn't really feel the need to go over our closing pitching and relief pitchers. Nothing too major there. But at catcher, we do have a bit of a logjam right here in terms of who we're going to bring up. I think Kyle Till, he played for us last year. Feel comfortable letting him be the backup to Jansen. Might let Guerrero and Salas play in AAA, but they'll also get looks here in the spring. We'll kind of make the determination then. But I feel like Kyle Till's probably going to be our backup catcher to Jansen. At first base, obviously Luis Reyes probably going to be our guy. I see Andrew Vaughn more in the DH role. He's not really got the arm to play anywhere but first base, but possible DH candidate for us. Did really good at the bat last year, in my opinion. 21 home runs, loved it from him. Batting average down to his normal 262 seems to be the anomaly. We'll let him DH. He might get to play first base in relief for Reyes every now and then. Second base is our Golden Glove winner himself, Nicky Lopez. No competition there. We'll see what he does this year. It is a contract year for him. Third base, we got Enrique Rojas and Dahlbeck. Good possibility Enrique ends up on the trading block. May go ahead and offload him. Just too many errors last year. It's a contract year for him as well. We're not going to bring him back. So the reason I signed Rojas was to supersede that, and then we'll look for more permanent roles for third base. And either the draft, most likely the draft. It's going to be a big one in the draft. I'm going to look at third baseman. Shortstop, obviously, Colson Montgomery. We got Brooks Baldwin up. He's going to get a look here in the spring, and so is our trade acquisition, Brooks Lee. We'll see how spring goes and make a determination on if anybody stays at the bigs to be Colson's backup. Brooks did well in September, I will say that. So, definitely an option. And then at left field, we cleared up some of that log jam, offloaded some guys and some trades, but we kept Schneider and Encarnacion. But, Prado is going to be breathing down their necks. We're going to start him out in Double A. If he starts killing it in Double A, we'll go ahead and bump up the Triple A. Not ready to give him a spring invite yet. Going to kind of let him develop. Center field, we got McCormick, and then was tempted to give Braden here a spring call-up, But ultimately, I think we need to give him another year in AAA, let him develop just a touch more. And we also have Brandon Shelley, who didn't progress as much as I would have liked, but he'll be in Double A again. And in right field, Lawrence Butler, running out of time to prove to me that he needs to stay here. If I don't like what I see this year, this might be another big off-season trade we do. If I don't do it at the trade deadline. Especially if Drew Waters kind of shows him up in the time that he'll see. But as you can see, we had no depth behind Lawrence Butler. So that's why we went ahead and signed Drew Waters. So we didn't increase a whole lot in a lot of areas. We're not the projected worst team. I guess there's consolation in that. Got some things I want to look at in the draft. Third base is going to be a big one we look at. Possibly second base as well, because I don't know how long Nicky Lopez is going to kind of be in that role. And then center field and right field. Possibly looking at both of those. Depends on our progression. Right field more than center field right now because Lawrence Butler has not impressed. But that's our big hits. And then obviously we'll take a look at some pitchers. Might look to draft a couple of bullpen arms. I know we took a few here recently. Let them start developing, but I need to replace some of that. And there's going to be some guys we don't bring back, obviously. Some guys that really are looking for some contracts here. Obviously, Luis Reyes, if he has another outstanding year like he did last year, we'll definitely offer him a contract extension. Some of these pitchers, we'll have to kind of see how their regression goes and kind of what they're bringing to the table and how they're looking. Nicky Lopez, another candidate for a contract extension. Enrique, not going to be with us very long. Pitching rotation for spring. I'm sure we'll touch on it again before we get into too many games, but Shane Bass, obviously our ace. Dean Kremer, going to kind of be the second guy up, and then Drew Thorpe, and then our lefty, Clayton Kershaw, who's going to be our only lefty in the starting lineup, and then Brian Bello, who we acquired from the Red Sox. Hagen Smith, rookie, lefty, going to keep an eye on him for sure. Grant Taylor, the other rookie, not too confident he's going to be We just haven't had a whole lot with low overall guys. Same with Hagen Smith, but they definitely deserved their spring call up. That's gonna wrap up things here for this episode. Made some moves in the offseason, obviously. Nothing like the first season. Then again, we had less holes we had to fill, and there just wasn't a whole lot that I was willing to do. Just a lot of guys. I feel like you're wasting your budget if you're not ready to compete with some of those guys. Like to offer Cody Bellinger what he got offered, or Jazz Chisholm, or some of the higher end pitchers that went. You're just wasting your budget on guys that aren't gonna take your team to the playoffs. Like you don't have enough around them. One guy can't win it all. So why waste your entire budget on guys that can take you over the top? And by the time you're ready to actually make that move into the playoffs, like they're in regression. They're not doing anything for you. So we'll see how this season goes. See how some progression goes, and then if we're not finishing at the bottom, we may make some bigger moves in the next off season. But give me a like, give me a sub. Make sure you stay tuned for some more fun things in this rebuild. I think it's going to be an exciting year. I got a kind of a new exciting layout about how I want to do the episodes from this point forward now, because we can show more. It's going to be more centered around month by month. So each episode is going to be just a month, and we'll showcase different talent in between that. Some at the bigs, some at the minors. It's going to be exciting. I can't wait to do it. I'd love to get a generational prospect in this draft. Just I don't even care if we don't get them. I would like to see at least one in this franchise file. In my test file I have with the Tampa Bay Rays, that I test out some sliders and maybe some ideas and kind of get an idea how some other things work. I already did 2 drafts. Generational talent in both years. First year, I was able to snag the generational talent. He fell all the way to like 14th, which was shocking, but he was a phenomenal player. And then the next draft, 2 generational talents. So like, why can't I get one in this? I mean, it's no guarantee he's going to fall to us at 4, but I'd still like to see a generational talent. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it off on that. Like I said, give me a like, give me a subscribe, and go White Sox.